Welcome to Magic All Around. This is the first episode. It's kind of an introductory episode. So I'm going to introduce myself and what I do. I'm Christiane Knight. I sometimes go by Zian or Z, and you can call me either of those or any. I've written 2 books, soon to be a third, in a series that focuses on fae magic, subculture, politics, and music, set in my hometown of Baltimore, Maryland, USA. I'm an old school punk with a deep dip into goth, and I've been involved on and off with DJing, running goth spaces, being in bands, and writing for and publishing zines since the 90s. I'm an artist, and I do 2 different arts for a living. One is blending highly textured fibers and making yarns from those fibers using ancient techniques turned modern, then sometimes creating finished objects from those yarn. The other one is crafting fantasy stories filled with hope, mostly set in modern times. They're obviously nothing alike. Or are they? The joke is that I like to spin tunes, fibers, and tales. That's an old running joke of mine. Did you know that you can tell a tale through a mixtape or a playlist? And making a yarn can be a way of telling a story too, if that's how you approach it. A good DJ can involve a multitude of emotions through song choices and can work the room through experiencing them in a transformative way. It's why going to a club can feel so cathartic. Your whole being gets involved in the process when it's done correctly. And storytelling has specific rules and skills that come together just like the steps to creating a yarn to build a story that works and can weave itself into your being. These 3 pastimes require patience and work put in before the actual product or performance. A good DJ will often curate a list of potential songs before their gig, and they spend time practicing and reviewing new tracks. A spinner needs to procure or process their fiber with a mind to colors and textures they want to bring together in the finished product, and how that product will come together to create another object. Writers spend a lot of time researching, plotting, developing characters, and more before they ever delve into actually writing the story. All of them create magic. They take their materials and transform them into something greater than the parts. It gives me great joy to bring all the pieces of me, the DJ and music lover, artist and writer, together in this podcast. You'll get to see and hear how all those aspects blend together to help create my art and convey the mystery of what I call magic seeking. So what's magic seeking? At the surface, it's just as advertised, looking for magic hidden in plain sight, lost in the everyday hustle and bustle. It's a way of seeing the world by paying attention, not letting oneself tune out with devices or other distractions and being there in the moment, looking at all the bits of life that we often disregard. You want an example? So my partner lives in DC. He's an hour away from me. I would spend a lot of time on the MARC trains and the metro because of that, and I decided instead of focusing on my phone, I would pay attention to the world whizzing by the window. And things I saw included large groups of deer, eagles, herons, cranes, several camps of unhoused folk that were well hidden unless you knew where to look, amazing graffiti, and a volunteer tomato plant growing right at the tunnel exit of the Union Station Metro like a tiny miracle. Magical moments don't need to be grand to be profound. They just need to knock you out of your normal day-to-day and give you a sense of whimsy or joy. There's a magical moment that Lucy and Cullen share in Cast a Shadow of Doubt that comes directly from an experience that I had. I'm not going to tell it here, but you'll know if you've read the book because it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So this intro has already covered some of the things that I'll be talking about in this podcast, as well as telling you a little bit about me, the weirdo who does the writing and now the talking. I'll also be talking more about the music that shapes me and is reflected in the stories I tell, including pulling out a track from different indie bands to highlight on the regular. By the way, did you know that I have an online streaming radio station? It's at Zian.org. I'll be doing a show there that does the same, but with less chatter from me. Keep tuned for when that'll start up. And of course, I'll be speaking about my journey as a writer and author and talking about In Sleep You Know, Cast a Shadow of Doubt, and the upcoming book, A Third Kind of Madness. One of the things I'm most excited about is that I'll be doing a serial chapter read from In Sleep You Know, something that's been requested repeatedly. Those will be starting soon, and I'll have them available in video and audio form. A quick note before I go. Today's little intro was scripted because having a script is great for getting comfortable. And I didn't plan much for the background, etc., because I wanted to not be precious about it. Getting it done is better than fussing over every detail, at least when you're getting started. As I go along, things will get more professional, I guess. But expect the feel of this cast to be exactly what it is. Me chatting with you from my little bedroom studio, probably with an unmade bed, and definitely with a mess beyond the camera that you can't see. We're being real here, and that means you and I are just hanging out and having a chat where I'm going to be dominating the conversation. Tune in for my first real episode in about 2 weeks, and then expect to get my first chapter read from In Sleep You Know soon after that. Until then, keep seeking magic.